I'm getting ready to show you a trick that I wish I had known years ago. We love sweet potatoes, and sweet potatoes can be very hard to peel. But one of my little old patients told me one time, she's like, honey, put them in a pot of water and bring it to a boil and put the lid on for 5 minutes, and then the peels come right off. Well, usually I do, put them in a thing and bring them to a boil, but they usually sit longer than 5 minutes because I forget about it. I did a little video earlier on fried squash, and when I looked at it, I noticed that I hadn't really, read my shirt. It said equal rights for others does not mean fewer rights for you. It's not pie, so just keep that in mind. So anyway, let me show you. I have them still in the pot. They're hot. But I've cut my fingers, I don't know how many times. Woo! Trying to peel sweet potatoes. So, I put them in a strainer down here. Hey, Hunka-Hunka's here. Alright, I put them in a strainer down here, and then what I do is I'm going to roast them. So I'm going to put it in this bowl, but I want you to see how these, I got to run some cold water, because they are really hot, but the peels just come right off. Check that out. If you've never tried to peel a sweet potato, that one don't act like it's any good, then
not a photo
hey, they just, I mean, you could take your hands and just rip the peel right off. So we're going to get through this, and then I'm going to show you how we roast them. We love sweet potatoes. We love them baked. We love them roasted. We love them fried. Fried sweet potatoes, just like you fry normal potatoes, white potatoes, with salt. Yum. Sweet potatoes are very good for you. They are also, I found out when I was pregnant, I had gestational diabetes, and they had me check my blood sugar 2 hours after I ate anything. And I noticed that if I ate sweet potatoes, or if I ate white potatoes, my blood sugar would go up. But if I ate sweet potatoes, it did not. So I learned a lot about food. So if any of you have blood sugar issues, you might want to try sweet potatoes instead of white potatoes. I also do a smashed version of sweet potatoes. I did smashed red potatoes the other day. You can watch that video. And smashed sweet potatoes, I just take I do them like this, and then I take a potato masher and mash them around with some butter and brown sugar and cinnamon, and just eat up. Yeah, I know a few people that have had to have like stitches and emergency room runs. So you all remember this during the holidays that West Virginia girls said, put your sweet potatoes in a pot of water, make sure it covers them, bring it to a boil, put the lid on, turn off the heat, and just let them sit. And then you can see how easy they are to peel. I just loved that little lady when she told me that. I'm like, oh my gosh. Max loves sweet potatoes. I wish I had known that little trick when he was a baby, because I made his baby food. And one of the staples was sweet potatoes. He wanted sweet potatoes with everything. But of course, I didn't know this little trick, so I got cut up a few times. Alright, we're about done here. And all I'm going to fix with this evening for Hunka Hunka is some pan-fried center-cut pork chops. And that will be dinner, so, and that's simple enough. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I just like cut them into, I don't know, like thick slices. You can chunk them into chunks, you know, whatever. They're partially cooked because of the boiling thing, and that's why I leave them in there a little bit longer than 5 minutes. So it doesn't take that long to roast them. They're easy to slice. I think of that lady. I'm sure she's passed away by now, but I think of her every time I do sweet potatoes, which is pretty often. You know, what's one thing about nursing that I just love is listening to older people and their stories, and stories about their goat farms, sharing recipes, talking about their families. It's just heartwarming. And some of them, I remember one of these ladies, one time I was working in ICU and they brought her husband up from the ER, and he was really, really sick. He was just not, you know, he wasn't coherent at all. She was a little tiny thing, all done, hair perfect, makeup good. It's the middle of the night. She had her little cane, and she's walking in there with us, and we're getting him all set. And she said, honey, I wish you could see him when he's not sick. And, you know, I'm like, well, I'm sure, you know, hopefully he'll get better, you know, da-da-da-da-da. Well, the next day, next night, she came back in, and she's sitting there, just all prim and proper. She was really cute. And she goes, honey, I brought a picture of him so you could see what he looks like when he's not sick. And I'm like, oh, okay, let me see. And she pulled out this picture, you know, like a little wallet-sized picture of him. And it was his picture when he was in the service in, like, World War II. And it was just so heartwarming because that's how she saw him. You know, he was probably 70 or 80 years old. And when she looked at him, she still saw that young Hunka Hunka in that military picture. All right, so let's get to these potatoes. So, next step is olive oil. So, you know, I'm a little generous with olive oil. Just pour it around there. Oven is on 450. Salt. And that's it. So I'm going to spray that. I use parchment paper a lot, if you all notice, because it saves a bunch of washing and scrubbing. So just get my hands in here. You can do any vegetable this way. We like sweet potatoes this way, cauliflower, asparagus, white potatoes. I think I did some golden turnips one time, and they were really good. But we love roasted vegetables. They're a quick, easy, nutritious side to just about any meal. So I'll put them on the baking sheet. Spread them out. And then we'll put them in the oven. Usually about 20 minutes. And they'll get a little golden brown. However you like them. Hunka Hunka likes them almost burnt, but we don't burn them all because the rest of us don't like them burnt. But anywho, that's how you do peel sweet potatoes and roast them. Just passing along little tricks of the trade from these little old ladies. All right, enjoy.